I'm gonna give you guys 5 pieces of life-changing wisdom that 2023 has taught me. 2023 was a life-changing year for me. It was so transformative and one of the very best years of my life. It was all about getting out of my own way and finally doing the necessary inner work to get myself out of survival mode. I did not realize how much it was impacting my life. In fact, I didn't even know that I was in survival mode. I just thought that I was living a normal, average life, and I thought that everyone else was in the same boat. I just thought that other people were stronger than me, so that's why that they were successful. But no, I learned so much about myself. I learned that I didn't need to be so miserable. I didn't need to feel like I was stuck in the life that I have. I didn't need to be a victim of my own life. I have had to get so raw and open and honest with myself, confront all of the things that I was hiding away from in order to get to this level where I'm at now of just pure inner peace and magnetism. Now that I've done the work to get myself out of survival mode, I feel like I finally have the energy that I've always deserved to pour into myself. Prior to that, I spent all of my time pouring my energy into other people, trying to get other people to validate me, trying to get other people to love me and think that I was the best thing since sliced bread. I was constantly trying to seek external validation, and I was hoping that that would be the answer to all of my problems. And 2022 actually taught me that even with all of the external validation I could need, even with the relationship of my dreams, even going traveling around the whole entire world, none of those external things actually made an impact on myself and my inner being. I was probably the most miserable that I've ever been in 2022, even though I had so many blessings in my life and I had so many things to be grateful for. But how can you be grateful for things if you don't know how to be grateful? So many amazing things can be happening for you, but if you don't know how to appreciate that and how to respond to that and how to actually just allow that into your life, then you're never going to enjoy it. So it is so necessary for all of us to do the inner work first in order to receive and feel the happiness and the fulfillment that we truly want to feel. Now this time last year, I just got back from Thailand and I was feeling like I had had enough. I had had enough of feeling so goddamn miserable all the time, of feeling just so uncontent, is that a word? I don't even know. But feeling just so not content with my life, even though my life was amazing. There were so many amazing things happening for me, but I just wasn't happy. And I realized that the reason I wasn't happy is because I spent all of my life leading up to that point completely ignoring my intuition and my heart, what my heart was screaming out and wanting me to do. And I know that a lot of people do this, like we ignore our heart, we ignore what our heart wants, we ignore our innermost desires because we think that we can't do it, we think that we're too late, we think that everyone else is already doing it and the market is saturated. Those beliefs were holding me back from what my heart was calling out for, and those beliefs were what held me back from actually starting a YouTube channel, because that is what my heart was calling out for. I wanted to start a YouTube channel. I knew that I'd always wanted to do it. I had started many channels on and off over the course of my life and I never stuck to them, and it finally got to the point where I was thinking, right, I know what I want to do. I know that I want a YouTube channel. I don't know how I'm going to do it. I don't know how it's going to go. I don't know if it will be received well by other people, but I'm just going to have to do it. It got to that point where it was like, I just need to do it. I need to just try it out. I need to fully stick to it and commit to it and just see where it goes. And since doing that, I have been the happiest that I've ever been, because I am living in my purpose. I never thought when I went on this journey of having my YouTube channel that I would have so much fulfillment with under 500 subscribers. I never would have thought that that would be something that I would be so proud of, but I am so proud of it because of the internal journey, the self-love journey that I've been on this year and everything that it has taught me. So I want to share with you guys, after that massive long backstory, the 5 things that have really helped me this year just change my mindset a little bit, and just things that I've learned over the course of the year that have transformed me as a person on my inner journey. Number 1, ideas are redundant if you don't do anything about them. You can spend your whole entire life daydreaming. You can have all the ideas in the world. You can think that you are an absolute muse in your own world, in your own head. You have all the amazing ideas, you know everything, and you're amazing. But the thing is, you are going to continue to be resentful when you see other people out there doing the things that you thought about, materializing memorializing this creative idea that you had, but you just didn't act on, and being resentful towards that. If you have an idea, you need to act on it. That is your obligation, to act on that idea. You need to at the very least, write it down. I've always been a person who has so many ideas. Like, I always have ideas rushing through my mind. I always feel like I get so many insights come to me and kind of like universal downloads being channeled through to me. I always experienced that, but I never knew how to act on it because I just felt so overwhelmed and inundated with information and ideas. So the very first step for me was to write down those ideas and keep a log of them, because at the very least, you need to just remember these insights that you have. Like, ideas are fleeting. Creativity is fleeting. You can't capture it. You can't reinvent it. You can't replicate it. It just comes and it flows naturally. So you have to take action on those ideas that you have. Whether it seems stupid or whether it seems small or whether it seems like it's not going to work out, if you have an idea and it is relevant enough to come to the forefront of your mind, that idea is worth writing down. You never know what idea is going to catapult you into your dream life. So you need to just make sure that you are taking inventory of everything that you are thinking. If you don't know what your purpose is in life, if you don't know what you want to do, this is the perfect time for you to just start really tuning into yourself and tuning into what information the universe is channeling through you. Hindsight on YouTube, he always says that creative ideas don't belong to anyone. He says that creative ideas are more like a collective thing that kind of bounce from person to person and see which human vessel is actually going to manifest that and bring it into physical reality. And if you get an idea and you don't act on it, you best believe that someone else is going to be doing that exact same thing and making money from it. And then you're going to be sat there resentful thinking,
oh, I thought that first, that was my idea, oh my god, I could have been rich.
And just hiding behind that comfort blanket of, oh, well, I thought of that, and if I'd have done that, I could have been rich. And just feeling satisfied with the idea that if you'd have done that thing, you would be in that same situation as them. That should not be comforting for you. That should be terrifying, that you are allowing your ideas to slip past you and go to other people. So when you are having ideas, just make sure that you're writing them down at the very least, so that you're bringing them into your conscious reality and your conscious mind, and you're able to, when you want to look back and reflect, look at the ideas and see what you can do with them, see what insights come from that. Because if you don't know what you want to do with your life, the only way you are going to know is if you start listening to yourself and start listening to the ideas that are coming through your mind. I was truly the biggest daydreamer, and I still am. Like, I love to daydream. It's so fun to daydream. It's so fun to create vision boards. It's so fun to sit down with a planner before the new year and write out all of your goals and what you want to be and what you want to do. That part is so fun because you're daydreaming, you're thinking about all the possibilities of the things that you could bring into your life, and it's easy. You're in the comfort of your own home, you're in the comfort of your own mind thinking about these things, so those things feel pretty safe in your mind. But when push comes to shove and it actually gets to crunch time and you have to take action, you need to take the action. And take it from me, I spent years ignoring myself, ignoring my heart, ignoring the ideas that got channeled through me. As a result of that, I spent years seeing other people doing all of these things that I wanted to do and getting money from it, getting paid for it while I'm still in my corporate 9-to-5 job. If you want to make change happen in your life, you need to make it happen. You need to change your life and you need to take aligned action. Number 2, the importance of self-love. Whether or not you are in a relationship or you're single, self-love is so important. I know a lot of people talk about self-love. It is so talked about on the internet, and I don't think that people truly understand what self-love means, because I thought that I knew what it meant. I thought that I loved myself for so many years, but it was only until this year that I realized, no, self-love is so much deeper. Self-love is loving yourself even when you don't feel lovable. It's showing up for yourself and doing the right things for yourself even when you don't want to. Self-love is realizing that you have a wounded inner child who is crying out for your help, is crying out for you to help her and guide her, rather than just giving in to every impulse and desire and whim that she has. Your inner child wants you to look after it. It wants you to parent it. It wants you to give it the discipline and the structure and the love and compassion that it needs to thrive. If you think of your inner child as an actual child within you, think of it as a child who wants to eat the chocolate chocolate. It wants to do all the fun things, all the impulsive things. It wants to leave its room messy. It wants to play on video games all day long. If you are constantly allowing your inner child, your wounded inner child, to run the show, you are not going to get anywhere, because you are just constantly, you are living from a child's mindset. Like, you're not living from an adult's mindset. Alicia Gogan, her videos helped me so much. Like, I can't even explain how much her videos helped me when I came across her, but she helped me so much in understanding my inner child and understanding parts work and things like that. She really came into my life at the perfect time. Like, I found her on YouTube at the perfect time. So if you want any more information on that, definitely go check out her channel, because she speaks about it so much more in depth than what I ever could. You need to give your inner child the love and the attention, but also the discipline that it needs in order for you to get yourself out of survival mode and stop making stupid decisions because your inner child wants to do it. Your inner child wants to eat chocolate for breakfast and whatever else it wants to eat. You know logically that if you eat those things, you are going to feel like a piece of shit. But your inner child doesn't know that. Your inner child loves you and wants you to feel happy and wants to comfort you in the way that always comforted you back in childhood. But it's realizing that you're not a child anymore. You're not necessarily in that survival mode anymore. You're not necessarily in that place that you were when you was a child, and you were defenseless. You were being told you're stupid, you're being neglected emotionally, whatever the case was with your childhood. You have to reassure your inner child that you're not in that situation anymore. And if you are still in that situation, you need to stand up even more and be that inner parent to yourself. Look after yourself as if you were your own child. Would you let your child stay up all night and watch TikTok? I don't think so. And not just your inner child, it is literally your soul. Your inner soul is screaming out to be listened to. You have so much wisdom and information inside of you that could honestly help you change your life. It could help you get to where you want to be if you just took the time out to listen to it. But a lot of us don't want to listen to it because it's difficult, it's boring. We would rather go on TikTok because then we can just avoid all of our problems and we can get that instant gratification straight away. But I think we all know now that even though TikTok offers instant gratification and it's good in the moment, it doesn't make you feel good. If you are spending your whole entire life on TikTok and you're spending all of your life making really poor decisions, you are just going down a rabbit hole of despair and sadness and misery and depression. Happy people are not on social media constantly, and happy people listen to their self and their inner wisdom, because your inner wisdom is going to guide you throughout your life. It's your internal GPS, and if you're not listening to that, you're just going to be going all over the fucking place. You're not going to get to your destination because you're taking all of these weird detours that are not serving you and they're just getting in the way. If you actually listen to yourself and start to love yourself and start to just really take that time out to spend time with yourself rather than just muting it all and drowning it out with external situations, going to see your friends and going out partying or going on TikTok or playing video games, whatever it is, if you just stop drowning out yourself and what yourself needs, you are going to find so many answers and you're going to find so much inner peace when you start to really cultivate that pure self-love journey. I genuinely used to have the audacity to say that I loved myself, and as much as I thought I did at the time, to the extent of what I knew, I genuinely didn't love myself. I didn't love myself because I only loved myself in a very materialistic and shallow way. I only loved myself when I was all glammed up and looking amazing, and I would say, oh, I love myself, I'm beautiful, I look amazing, because I very much feel like that was how self-love was promoted over the past couple of years and probably still now. But people would just say self-love was kind of like just really rating yourself and being quite arrogant about it, and that's what I kind of was like. I just got a little bit overly confident and thinking, oh yeah, I love myself because I'm beautiful and I love myself because I am a nice person or whatever. But I didn't realize that I really didn't love myself, because if I loved myself, I wouldn't allow myself to do all of these self-sabotaging and self-destructive behaviors that I was doing constantly. I was binge eating. I was eating so much food to the point where I felt sick. I wasn't even hungry anymore. I was just eating and eating and eating, and I didn't even think it was a problem. I just thought that that was normal. I thought that everyone likes to eat or everyone has their vices. I wasn't exercising. I wasn't doing anything for me. I wasn't doing anything that nourished my mind. I was completely rotten from the inside out, and I didn't even realize it. My body body was so used to being treated poorly that it just accepted it. And as a result of that, when I was in that time period, I was attracting people in my life who was treating me poorly. It was only when I started to truly learn how to love myself, get to know myself inside out, and love myself unconditionally, show myself that unconditional love that I was craving from everybody else. How could I expect for somebody else to love me unconditionally if I wasn't loving myself unconditionally? And I was being blatantly obvious about that. People saw that I wasn't looking after myself. I gained so much weight. My skin was breaking out with cystic acne. I was miserable all the time. I was so sad all of the time. And there's no wonder that I was attracting such low vibrational experiences. Since I've started loving myself, my life has transformed completely. The way that people interact with me, the way that I get treatment from all the people in my life, the way I get princess treatment and queen treatment from my boyfriend. Like, he looks after me so much, and it is the first time that I've been in such a healthy and pure relationship where the love just feels so unconditional. I don't have to show up in a certain way. I don't have to be perfect for him to love me. He will love me regardless. And I do think that's because I started to learn how to love myself unconditionally. This is a really long section, but I just wanted to mention how I've had like a really big insecurity my whole entire life, and I never told anybody about it, but I have a lazy eye and I was so ashamed of it. I hated it so much. My whole entire life I grew up hating it and just wishing that I didn't have it and being so angry at myself for having this disability, I guess. And I never told anyone about it. I kept it so on the down low. Best believe I did not tell my ex-boyfriend about it either, because I just knew for a fact that he would probably have run a mile, because that's the type of relationship it was. And that was such a horrible feeling, to feel like I have to hide such a big important part of my life, like a massive part of my life, from people. Since being in my current relationship, I've been very honest about it and I've been very upfront about it, and I've spoken about it so much more. And that is because I learned how to love it and accept it. Rather than being angry at my eyes because one of them doesn't work how it should, I actually felt for the first time this year so much compassion and so much sadness for my inner child, who had to deal with all of these things growing up, having to deal with going to the hospital for my eye and having to deal with the embarrassment of having a lazy eye, going through school and wearing glasses and not being confident. It was really hard for me, and this past year has been the first time that I've truly, like, I came off the phone to the opticians not long ago because I really wanted to get laser eye surgery, and they told me that I couldn't get it. And I just came off the phone, I was like, okay, thank you. And I just was looking in the mirror and I was just crying so much because I just felt so much love and so much compassion for my eyes. And I was literally looking at my eyeballs thinking, they're so cute, like, you don't deserve this. You are the most amazing eyeballs ever. Like, you look after me, you try to make me see as best as possible. And that moment was so, it sounded so stupid. Like, when I said it to people, and when I'm saying it now, it sounds so silly, but it was so profound because it was the moment that I realized that I truly loved every single part of myself. I felt so integrated. So self-love is so important, and not in the ordinary sense of how people talk about it. Number 3, a regulated nervous system should be your number 1 priority. I had no idea about anything about nervous system regulation. I didn't understand it at all. I didn't even know it was a thing. I didn't understand how important it was to regulate your nervous system until I read the book The Body Keeps Score. I think it's called that, something like that. I read it like a couple of years ago, but it is so important to regulate your nervous system and to get yourself back to a grounded and balanced state rather than living your whole entire life in fight or flight and survival mode. My nervous system response, like my typical response, is to freeze. When I was younger, it was more fight or flight, but in my adulthood, it has been more to freeze. I think that was half of the reason why it took me so goddamn long to pass my driving test. I knew how to drive. I knew how to drive for so long, but it took me about 4 years to learn how to pass my test because I was just so nervous. And when I get nervous, my nervous system just shuts down and puts me into a freeze response. So I've learned so much about regulating that this year, and I've learned so much of how to actually calm myself down down and how to manage in those situations where my nervous system just completely shuts down. Regulating my nervous system has looked like learning how to just relax in situations, learning how to be detached from my emotions and not allow my emotions to dictate every single little thing. Learning more to observe my emotions rather than get completely wrapped up in them. And it also looks like breath work and yoga and moving your body and things like that. But I also didn't realize one of the main things that was making my nervous system so out of whack was being on social media all the time, being constantly overstimulated. I used to get in my car after work and I would put my music on so loud, so loud. It was like I was trying to drown out all of my thoughts. That music was always on regardless. However I felt, the music was on and I just felt numb a lot of the time. Then I would come home from work and I would eat my food and I'd be watching Netflix while I was eating my food. And then I would go on social media for a bit. I would scroll on TikTok or scroll on Instagram, whatever it was, and completely just overstimulate my mind, fill my mind with so much bullshit and so much things that I didn't need to fill my mind with. It is no wonder that I was so dysregulated and that I was so stressed out all the time because I had so much information in my mind that my mind just couldn't process it. So I would be irritable, I would snap at people, I would just feel so miserable all the time because I felt like I just had this uncontrollable rage within me that I couldn't actually express. So that just led to my whole nervous system being so completely out of whack. So regulating your nervous system is so important and that has completely changed my life. I am so much more in tune with my body now and I know when I need to clock out of a situation. If I am overstimulated, I know that I just need to go and lay down. I need to lay horizontal, lay down and just breathe. Listen to some binaural beats, focus on my breath and just lay there, not think about anything else. If that's what you need to do, then you've got to do it. I know that you can't just in the middle of work get up and go and lay down, but there's things you can do. You can go to the toilet and you can sit in a cubicle and just sit there and breathe, regulate your nervous system. Or you can get in your car, just sit in your car and just breathe. Just allow yourself to be in silence and allow yourself to just process all of that information of the day that is going on in your mind, because your mind needs time to process it all. You are not a machine. You are not a robot who can take in all of this information and it not affect you at all. Of course it's going to affect you. So you need to learn that and you need to realize that in order to regulate yourself. This kind of goes back to the self-love point, but your brain deserves so much more love than you just bombarding it with information. You need to be picky and selective about the information that you are taking in because you can only take in so much. And if this is another thing, if you're listening to the news, that is the worst thing for your nervous system. I'm not gonna lie. I used to listen to the news all the time. It would always be on in our house in the morning. And imagine that being the first thing that you hear. Someone's died, there's been a crash somewhere, there's a war going on. All of these different things, that's the first thing that you hear in the morning. No wonder you are depressed and no wonder you are dysregulated. So just kind of do a little bit of an audit on yourself and realize where you are spending your energy and realizing what information you are allowing to infiltrate your brain. Your brain is sacred, your body is sacred, and you need to be careful with the things that you allow into your body and into your brain. Number 4, exercise and movement is not reserved purely for looking a certain way or being skinny. 2023 has taught me the importance of moving my body and how much that actually benefits your mental health and everything about your health as a whole. If you are looking at exercise and movement in a way where it's like that's gonna be the avenue that I go down to get skinny, you're probably not gonna wanna do it. You're probably not gonna stick to fitness routines. You're probably not going to have that motivation and that fire to do it all the time. When you're sat in front of a big massive plate of delicious food, you're not thinking that your main priority is to be skinny. You're thinking that food looks damn tasty, I want to eat that. And it's the same for so many instances in life. Like, you're not always going to be thinking I need to be skinny, I need to be skinny. So if being skinny is the motivator for you to exercise all the time, it's not going to be sustainable. But if your motivator for exercising is to be happy, to feel at peace, to have a regulated nervous system, to just be healthy as a whole, you are going to stick to that so much more, especially if you have cultivated this self-love journey and you've gotten to a point where you unconditionally love yourself. Exercising is a non-negotiable. You will be exercising all the time, moving your body in some kind of way all of the time, because your body deserves that and you know that your body deserves that. You deserve to be healthy. You deserve to grow old and be strong and not be some feeble and frail old woman dithering about. You deserve to improve your cardiovascular health. You deserve to feel healthy and fit and not have crippling anxiety constantly. If you are serious about wanting to feel better, and that is your sole motivation, to want to feel better and want to feel like the best version of yourself, then exercise will just come naturally. You will just naturally want to exercise and move your body because you'll know of all the benefits of it. We all know the benefits of it, but it's when you truly focus on the fact that exercise brings so much more value than just being skinny and just looking a certain kind of way. You are never going to look exactly like who you want to look like. You're never going to look exactly like that celebrity or that influencer. You're never going to have their exact body shape, and you're always going to be dissatisfied. So if that's your motivation, you're always going to give up and you're never going to stick to a workout routine, and that's just doing a disservice to yourself. Even if you're not going to the gym all the time, even if you are literally doing one workout class a week, even if you are just stretching every morning for 10 minutes, even if you're walking for 30 minutes every single day, that's all you need to do. That's all you need to do to regulate your body and to feel better and to be healthy. You don't need to move mountains. You don't need to be lifting heavy at the gym constantly. You just want to be moving your body, getting into that flow, getting used to moving your body, making it a habit, making it a part of your identity and your life. Once you start doing that, then you'll probably delve into more weightlifting or more specific workout routines. But in the beginning, just focus on moving your body. Don't overcomplicate things. Just go for a walk. Go for a 30-minute walk. It's called a hot girl walk for a reason. If you go for walks every single day, you're gonna be a hot girl. That's just how it works. I don't make the rules. Number 5, learning how to rest and relax, and doing this in an intentional and healthy way. My version of resting used to be finishing work, coming home, stuffing my face with food, and going on social media and scrolling until I fell asleep, and then thinking, oh shit, I need to take my makeup off. Oh, maybe I won't do that because I'm resting. I'll just go to sleep. I used to think that was rest. I used to think that that was what my body needed. I only used to think that because I didn't used to listen to my fucking body. I didn't used to listen to myself at all and what my body needed. And let me assure you that that is not rest. That is just a recipe for feeling completely unrested. It's a recipe for feeling so stressed out, so behind in life, so unorganized, so flustered, and just feeling crazy all of the time. I know that on social media, I'm not on TikTok anymore, so I'm probably a bit behind with like a lot of the trends, but I remember when I was on social media like a month or so ago, everyone was talking about rotting and like how you just need a day to rot. And to some extent, I kind of agree with that. Like, you can't be on your shit constantly, and sometimes you do just need to not do anything and just watch your favorite TV show or scroll mindlessly on TikTok. Sometimes you do kind of need that. But if you're making it a regular thing, and if you're making it a habit of finishing work on a Friday night and rotting in your bed all weekend and not doing anything, that's not rest. That is not rest. And there is no surprise that on a Monday morning, if that's how you are resting on the weekend, there's no surprise that on Monday you're going to be feeling so lethargic and so tired and feeling like you can't wait for the weekend to come around again. It's a trap. Scrolling on social media and being on your phone and calling it rest, it's a trap, because it feels like rest in the moment because you're not having to think too much, but you're really not resting. You are actually inundating your brain with so much unnecessary information and so much stress and external stimuli. You are fucking up your nervous system and you're not resting. So I have truly learned the difference between this kind of rest and actual healthy, intentional rest. Intentional and healthy rest isn't glamorous. It doesn't feel probably the best in the moment. You probably do just want to go on TikTok and overstimulate your mind because it's fun and you get that dopamine kick. But you need to listen to when your body actually needs to rest. Whether that be having a nice long bath and not going on your phone, whether that be listening to binaural beats and meditating, whether that be using a colouring book and colouring while you listen to binaural beats, whether that's even sleeping, having a nap. Sometimes you need a nap. Sometimes you actually need to sleep. There are all different types of rest that you need for different circumstances. Sometimes rest can look like reading a book and learning about something. Even though that doesn't feel like it would be rest, that's sometimes the rest that you need. You've just got to learn how to listen to your body and listen to what your body needs and what type of rest you actually need. Once you start to get to know yourself and once you start listening to yourself, you're going to know what kind of rest you need. You're going to know when you need a nap. You're going to know when you need to occupy your mind with learning about something. You're going to know when you need to colour or run a nice bath, or I don't know, you're just gonna know what kind of rest that you need. So learning that is so essential, and that has completely shifted the way I look at things in life this year. Okay guys, that was 5 things that I have learned this year that have really helped me transform my life and transform my mindset and how I look at things. I have learned so many things this year. It was so hard to condense it down to 5. I just kept thinking of more and more things that I wanted to talk about, but those are kind of just 5 things that I feel like could be really beneficial for you guys, and it's kind of like the foundation of what I've learned this year and the main things that I've learned. So if you want to go into 2024 with kind of that little head start, because this all took me across the course of a year and to an extent across the course of my whole life to learn. So if I can offer you that information in like a 30-minute video, then I am very happy to do that, and I hope that this video has helped you in the way that I intended it to. I hope you guys are all doing well. I hope you guys are all really excited for Christmas and getting organized and getting excited for Christmas time. And in fact, I don't even know when I'm going to upload this video. It might actually be past Christmas when I upload it. If it is the case, I hope you had an amazing Christmas, but if Christmas hasn't come, I hope you're excited for it. Let me know what you guys have been up to down in the comments down below. I want to interact with you guys. Like, I want to talk with you guys and get to know you guys, get to know what you're up to, who you are, where you're from, what you do. In fact, let me know what your 2024 goals are. What are you wanting to achieve this next year? What habits are you wanting to cut out and eliminate in order to be the best, most elevated version of yourself? I look forward to reading your comments. Thank you so much for watching. Please make sure to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed it, and I will see you in my next video. Bye guys.